Welcome. I'd like to call this September 25th, 2023 council meeting to order. If you're please, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, Jared. We've been out so long. I reconvene finance. Is there a motion to adjourn finance?
I just want to first announce that we came out of executive session at 6:46 PM, and I'll make a motion to adjourn finance.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Finance is adjourned. Now, I'd like to welcome everybody to the September 25th, 23 council meeting. If you please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Lamb.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Hazeltine.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of September 11th, 2023, as prepared and submitted by the clerk, be approved.
Second.
Discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council this evening, and we'll meet again in 2 weeks. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Thank you. Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Thank you. Special Legislation, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report, no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and nothing to report.
Thank you. And Emerging Technologies, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report, no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Request for council action. We have several for the Finance Committee. We have 23-174 budget amendments, 23-175 increased expenditure for fire safety services, PO 23-569, 23-176 RFPs for drug screening and related professional services, 23-177 amend salaries and benefits code, reclassify part-time to full-time account clerk, 23-178 amend zoning code, chapter 1105, various sections, 23-179 accept utility rate review recommendations for the water rate increase, 23-180 agreement with the Wheeling and Lake Erie Railway repealing ordinance 9822, 23-181 expenditure for HSH Construction Engineering Department, 23-182 discussion Medina Municipal Courthouse Architect selection, 23-183 increased expenditure Concrete Contracting Solutions Park Department, 23-184 increased expenditure for Medina Supply at PO 23-425, 23-185 amend ordinance 8023 gap conversion contract with Ray and Associates, 23-186 a then and now for Ray and Associates, and 23-187 expenditure for Candlelight Walk holiday lights on Public Square. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Medina Farmers Markets will take place a little bit longer on the square. They end on Saturday, October 7th. And the hours for the public are 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I'd like to thank Main Street Medina for organizing this ongoing event. The third annual We Are Stronger Together Medina Unity Gathering will be this week, September 26th, 27th, and 28th at 7 p.m., all 3 nights at Cornerstone. And there's different speakers and different music each night. Cornerstone Chapel is 3939 Granger Road, Medina, and hope to see some of you there. On Friday, September 22nd, we had ribbon cuttings for 3 new businesses in Medina. The Giving Place at 1095 North Court Street, Black Cat Books at 420 South Court Street, and Do It Again at 201 West Liberty Street. We'd like to welcome all of those and thank them for choosing Medina. Councilman Simpson was at each of those, and we appreciate that as well. On Saturday, September 23rd at 1 p.m., I attended and spoke at the Gold Star Mothers Memorial in York Township, and we recognize the loss of our military members and the impact that has on their families. On that same day at 4 p.m., I presented a proclamation to the Medina County veterans who served in the Vietnam War at the Veterans Hall on North Broadway Street. Thankful for their service and sacrifice as well. 2023 is the 35th anniversary of the Medina County Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 385. Medina County lost 33 veterans in the Vietnam War that are recognized with a memorial on Northland Drive next to the Veterans Office. And thank you again to all who served. And last but not least, I'd like to congratulate Pastor Michael Wilson, who's here with us. He was installed yesterday as the pastor of Fellowship Baptist Church yesterday afternoon, and we're honored to work alongside you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the same reminder I had last week. Of course, the referendum on the deer issue came through finance because that's how state code is set up. The election board has provided us with the wording because a lot of people on both sides have asked how this is going to be worded. And the way the wording works on it is a yes vote is to adopt the ordinance that council passed, which allows a calling program with certain restrictions. A no vote is to not adopt the ordinance that council passed. That's kind of been, because it's a little confusing the way it's worded, but that's how those come out. Other than that, there's a couple things that originated with finance I'll address when we get there.
Thank you, Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have any report for Pastor Wilson. Welcome to the breach. Lots of things to fix.
Mr. Toth, LST Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through August, the life support team responded to 2,319 calls for the city of Medina. And for all three entities, we responded to 3,544 calls. Thanks.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Sergeant Zaremba, the IT Department, I guess.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Ms. Latuka, Municipal Court.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Sure, I made it. Mr. Picoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Chief Walters. And by the way, Chief, happy birthday.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Fire Department.
I appreciate the birthday wishes. Also, just want to announce the fire department's doing their annual open house this year. Again, it's a big event. Usually we get somewhere in the neighborhood of 700 to 800 people come through the station. There's a lot for the kids to do there, good family fun. This year it's going to be on Saturday, October 14th from 11 to 2 at Fire Station 1, 300 West Reagan Parkway. Thank you.
And I'm glad we can give you a great birthday celebration, great forum for your birthday. Mr. Dutton, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Notices, communications, and petitions. We have one, a liquor permit, not to object to the transfer of a C1 and C2 permit from Free Enterprises, Inc., doing business as West Side Shell, 740 West Liberty Street, to True North Energy LLC, doing business as True North number 381, 740 West Liberty Street, Medina.
Move not to object.
Second, not to object.
Any discussion on a liquor permit? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Unfinished business, we have none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public who have permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of a majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Okay. At this time, introduction and considerations of ordinances resolution. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 149-23, 150-23, 151-23, Resolution 152-23, Ordinance 153-23, 154-23, Ordinance 155-23, and Ordinance 156-23.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rule requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Ordinance 14923, an ordinance amending section 91701, 91703, 91705 of the codified ordinances of the city of Medina, Ohio relative to water services.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. The main thrust of this is to increase the deposit. It has not been raised in a number of years. It's $100, and that's not sufficient to cover outstanding bills anymore.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I know we went through this over the last few meetings and trying to clarify things to make a catch-all, to make sure that we update our ordinances, at least in the water department ordinance, to make sure that we're going to collect enough money to cover any delinquencies that occur. Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 14923 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 15023, an ordinance authorizing expenditure to Central Square Technologies for the subscription and annual maintenance agreement for the computer-aided dispatch and report management system for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Sergeant Zaremba? No?
Okay. Actually, it's mine.
Okay, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is authorizing payment for our Central Square contract and maintenance support. This is our CAD RMS system. The emergency clause is requested. As it is currently past due, we had some issues that we needed to negotiate, and it pushed us past the due date.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 15023 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 15123, an ordinance amending section 3102B5 of the Salaries and Benefits Code of the City of Medina, Ohio relative to the Medina Municipal Court judicial aid.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Cindy?
Thank you, Mr. President. We're requesting council to approve a part-time judicial aid to assist in clearing up some older files that we want to get scanned into our computer system.
Thank you. Any discussion on that? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 15123 passes 6-0.
Resolution 15223, a resolution authorizing the filing of a grant application through the Ohio Department of Transportation's Municipal Bridge Program for the design services for the project Prospect Street Bridge Replacement Project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. As council knows, earlier this year, we were successful in submitting a grant application through ODOT's Municipal Bridge Program. We received $1.809 million for the construction of the bridge. ODOT also has a program to pay for 95% of the design services. This is a request to submit an application to them and enter into an agreement if we are successful in getting that grant.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Resolution 15223 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 15323, an ordinance amending ordinance number 11623, passed July 10th, 2023, relative to the expenditure to Technology Engineering Group LLC for the courthouse parking garage camera project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and ordinance. Sergeant Zaremba.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just a continuation of the courthouse parking camera project with the county behind Common Pleas Court. We started it back in July, and we were 2 cameras short. So this is the additional 2 cameras we wanted to add to the project.
Thank you. Any further discussion? And the emergency clause?
So we just want to wrap the project up, and it was originally approved in July with the emergency clause.
Okay. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 153-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 154-23, an ordinance amending ordinance number 221-22, passed December 12, 2022, amendments to the 2023 budget.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Both of these are pass-through amounts. It's money we received, but in order for the department that received it to spend it, it has to be appropriated.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 154-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 155-23, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation was incurred, sums were lawfully appropriated in the funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President?
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause in the ordinance. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for our gap conversion, and it is a increase in the contract due to a new GASB statement that we had to comply with, and the work has been completed, which is why we were asking for the emergency clause.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 155-23 passes 6-0.
At this time, I'd entertain a motion to add ordinance number 156-23.
I'll make a motion to add ordinance 156-23.
Second.
Any discussion on the addition of the ordinance 156-23? Will the clerk please call the roll on adding ordinance number 156-23?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Ordinance 156-23, an ordinance authorizing a donation of $40,522.67 to Main Street, Medina, for the purchase of and installation of holiday lights on the Medina's public square.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President?
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. I guess that would be me. The ordinance is going to make a donation of $32,522.67, which came from a bequest from a former Medina resident of $75,000, and we have $32,000 left, to Main Street, Medina, to purchase certain lights for the holiday season. The last time we purchased any kind of wreaths or lighting or equipment was about 9 years ago, so it's time that we need to purchase new ones because the old I guess wreaths and garland have seen better days, so we need to update that. There'll be $8,000 added from the General Administration Fund from the City of Medina as our donation to the project, which brings it to $40,522.67, which is going to include lighting of certain trees in the square, 5 trees in each quadrant. There's 4 quadrants, so there'll be 20 trees lit in the square, which hopefully add another perspective and bring more enjoyment to people who visit the square. Our goal, of course, is to make this a great place to visit during the holiday season, and I think that's been done for numerous years, and I think that this will add to it and refresh it a little bit since it's, been 9 years since it's been done. An emergency clause is requested because, believe it or not, Christmas is just around the corner, so that's why we need to do this, so they can order it. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine. Oh, sorry, she's not here. Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 156-23 passes 6-0.
Council comments? Mr. Simpson?
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd just like to say congratulations, Pastor. What an honor. Secondly, I notice we have 2 candidates for an open seat for council at large in the audience, and I want to thank both of you for attending. Personally, I feel it's important that the candidates become familiar with what goes on up here. I know you can watch some of the programming on the cable channel, but to be here in person, especially for some of the meetings that are not televised, some of our committee meetings and and the, God love them, budget meetings. It's important, so if one of you are fortunate enough to be elected in November, that in January you'll be able to hit the ground running, because nobody's going to be up here telling you how to do things. You're going to have to familiarize yourself with the process. Secondly, I just want to remind not only the candidates that are here, but the candidates that are not here, this office that you're seeking for consul at large, and there's a candidate for my seat also, that this is a nonpartisan race. In other words, we don't claim Democrat or Republican up here. And the people that established the charter, I believe back in 1950, made it that way, and it was a genius move. It enables all of us to interact with each other. Doesn't mean we're always going to agree with each other, which we don't. But politics, party lines, usually, I can say mostly, do not interfere with our decisions. We try to do what's best for the community. You may not agree with us at times, but we really and truthfully are not putting party lines in front of you. So you can be endorsed by any party that is willing to endorse you, but I ask that you keep in mind that when you're campaigning, this is a nonpartisan office. But again, for the two of you that are here, thank you so much for taking the time, and one, for running, and two, for being here to learn the process. Other than that, remember to be kind to one another, help people where you can, and accept other people's opinions, even though they may differ from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Mr. Rose?
Thank you, Mr. President. Reverend Wilson, thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing you preach your word tomorrow night at the Unity Gathering. Joel and I try to go every year, so it's a good thing. And I would recommend anybody who has the time to be there as many of the nights, what is it, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, to be there 7 to 8 at the Cornerstone Church on Granger. And an institution closed down Saturday, Medina Hardware.
Yes.
Okay, it's, well, a week ago. It's going to be missed. I'm going to miss it. It's nice to be able to go in and get harassed by Sharon on just for showing up with a cup of coffee, you know. So, but they will be missed. Best of luck to Rick and his family, and to Sharon and her family, and, you know, come back and see us sometime if you happen to be watching this. And then, as you're doing your research for the upcoming elections, there's two words that I want you to concentrate on. Every individual. No limits, nothing about height or weight or age, just every individual. Think about that whenever you're doing your research on your decisions on coming to vote in November. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional council comments? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.